But we have to talk some baseball on the professional diamond. The Guardians did lose 2 of 3 to the Rangers over the weekend, but there were 2 pitching performances that really stood out. On the good end, Tanner Bibee looked incredible Saturday night, picking up his first win of the season, snapping a streak of 13 straight winless starts. He was awesome.
That's a franchise worst.
On Sunday, Joey Cantillo was not good, bad. And Bull, you had pointed out the last time Joey started that he had been struggling. You noticed his strikeouts were down, and this was a continuation of that.
Yeah.
So when you look at Saturday's great performance from Bibee versus Sunday's subpar performance from Cantillo, in your mind, I'm going to start with Zach because he may not get a word in after. Zach, what was the more impressive or bigger deal? Bibee's great start or Cantillo's continued struggles?
Unfortunately, it's Cantillo because it is continued struggles, right? He's given up, I think, 15 earned runs in his last 3 starts. So the fact that they lost, they didn't win the series, the offense was flat also in the end of a road trip, that happens. But to see this guy getting shelled. So you worry about, look, the Guardians are in a good spot, and they're a good team. But you worry about the depth of the starting pitching to start with, and now you have a guy that's clearly struggling. It's a trend at this point.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Zach. I was listening. I didn't see the game. I was listening to it on the radio, and I think he had 6 strikeouts through 2 and a couple, maybe 2 and a third innings. So, when you're not watching a game, you can't tell what the velo is because they don't talk about it. Mm-hmm. But when you're watching it, obviously, you see every pitch. So I'm curious to know where his velo was and where it's been. The Yankees, I think he went 4 innings.
Yeah.
But you're right. Look, you can write off 1 bad start. You can write off even 2 less than great starts in a row. But when you start piling up these bad starts, there's the question that always pops into my mind is something off arm-wise? I like to watch him pitch, not listen because, what does his changeup look like? But it sounded like some of these home runs were wall scrapers. The Martinez ball, I think he played it into a home run. It hit off his glove and then went over the fence. So that's a wall scraper. There was another one to left that sounded like it was a missile. Sounded like it got out in no time at all. So I don't think these were like towering moonshots, but they just kept one after another. So I think I've said this before about the concern of Bibee. He has not been himself, and he's got to be better for them to be good. But I wasn't overly concerned about him because even though he had gone 13 starts without his team winning, he mixed in a couple of really, really good quality starts where his team gave him a run. I think he lost a game 2-1. He had a couple of starts where he did his job. Look at his ERA is 4. And he's got 1 win in 14 starts.
Look at his strikeouts per inning. That's not good.
Yeah, that's not Bibee.
Yeah.
I don't know what's gone on there. And heck, it seems like a couple times this year he's given up a home run to the first hitter.
Yeah.
And multiple home runs in the first inning. So I don't know if he's not warming up properly. He's not. He just doesn't seem to be ready when the game starts, and that might be something that I'm sure they're looking into. It was either you or Jason said, I wonder if there's some sort of pitch tipping that he's doing. I've been watching him. I went back, the game that he was talking about, I went back and watched, and I didn't notice a thing. His movement is so minimal when he comes set. Like, he's not digging. You don't even see his wrist flex. So I think he'll be okay. Cantillo, I don't know. Bull, I'm a little concerned about him.
Yeah, to me, definitely the bigger story is Cantillo. And honestly, I never thought I'd be saying this, but to me, right now, the biggest priority for the Guardians in the next 2 months is getting another starting pitcher.
Yeah.
That's even big. I would listen. I'd love to see them get a starter, a reliever, and a hitter. Just why not? Because the American League's wide open, and I think the Guardians can win a World Series this year. I certainly think they can get to a World Series this year. So I'd go all in and get all 3. But starting pitcher is the biggest priority, and here's why. Because you have Joey Cantillo, who I've always been a big fan of. He pitched great the last 2 months of last year. He pitched great the first 2 months of this year. But we're going on close to a month that he's been struggling. Now, the only thing positive about this is most of his struggles have been walks. His walks have been through the roof.
Yeah.
And he only walked 2 in this game. So at least that improved. But everything else was terrible. I mean, he gave up 9 hits, I think, or whatever it was. And the Rangers lineup, I know they did have Wyatt Langford and Corey Seager back, but overall their lineup has not been very
They
good
had
so far
scored
this season.
in one of the previous 18 innings.
Yeah.
So in the first 2 series, they won game 1 with
Right.
3 in 1 inning.
Yeah.
And the 17 innings between games 1 and 2 of the series, they were blanked.
Right. So to get destroyed by a lineup that had been struggling, I know they have some good players, but they've been struggling, was disappointing. We know Slade Ciccone has, he's been okay, but I know he's your 5th starter, but he's not reliable. Tanner Bibee, you talked about it already. He's up and down.
Yeah.
He'll give you one start, he looks great. The
I
next
think we
start,
have 2 starters we can count on.
and even Messick, it's his first full year.
Right.
It's like
he's going to hit a wall.
So
at some
listen,
point.
Gavin Williams, fantastic. He'll throw in a bad start every once in a while, but for the most part, he pitches great. And I am comfortable with Messick, Williams, and Bibee starting in the playoffs.
Yeah, I would be too.
But I need one more guy, and right now it doesn't look like I can trust Cantillo. I definitely can't trust Ciccone. I've never been a fan of Logan Allen. They don't really have anybody else. All their top prospects are hitters right now,
which is
weird.
Complete 180
but
from
it
where
is.
we've been in the
So
past.
I think getting a pitcher, I think they're going to need to get a pitcher, and I don't think it's an overreaction. And I do think Cantillo will bounce back at some point. I think he's a talented pitcher. But they, at some point here in the next 6 weeks, need to add a starting pitcher, I believe.
Yeah, Jay, from what I saw, he wasn't walking guys, but he was putting it right where they wanted.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
That's a problem.
Yeah, that's a problem. With I don't care if it's Rangers in a slump.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. If you're missing your spots.
Yeah.
And you're missing them consistently, and it seemed like guys were jumping on early in the at bat too.
Yeah.
And I did scan through the YouTube melt highlights of it today, so I saw where the pitches were.
Yeah.
They were where you'd want pitches.
A lot of middle.
And you can't miss
Yeah.
that way. You just can't. I know it's off topic, but it hit me while we were talking about this. Can someone please make this Bailey trade make sense to me? I don't get it. I know Tugboat. Everybody thought he was a bit of a novelty.
Yeah.
But I think he just got called up to AAA, and his
did.
numbers this year are unbelievable.
Yeah,
He'd be
listen,
a nice guy to have in the pipeline right now.
I did.
What has Bailey brought to the party?
When the trade happened, I said I didn't love it. Okay. And I know you did too, but you were on here, and I had said,
Yeah, I did not love it. He's a 140 hitter.
The diehard Guardians fans on social media killed me for saying it was. I didn't like the trade.
I didn't see a shred of positivity in the trade when they made it.
It was funny because now listen, Patrick Bailey is as good as it gets defensively, and all this stuff.
But
you already had good catchers.
Yes, we don't need another defensive catcher.
He's a young Austin Hedges, is basically what he is.
Right. I mean, look, we have given up on Bo Naylor, right?
Yes.
We're done.
Yeah.
Hands washed.
Yeah.
Okay. I think you sent him down after the trade, right? They traded
it was
for
right
Bailey.
around the same time.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you traded a 180 hitter for a 140 hitter.
Yeah.
It blows my mind.
Austin Hedges has become such an important part of the bullpen that they wanted Bailey to concentrate on catching.
He threw again yesterday. I love how he does it too. He's not even trying to disguise anything. He's just like, here you go, guys.
Yeah.
This is where we are.
75 miles an hour.
And look, that's what it is. It's not our day. So were we concerned about Cantillo because it's 3 straight starts? Yes,
Yeah.
but it was not the Guardians' day.
It was
Come
not.
home, they
Just
play
like
the
Saturday
Yankees.
was not the Rangers' day.
The guy is on the hill tonight, and the Yankees are in town.
Yeah, it
Great
should
way
be
to
fun.
forget about it.
It should
It's
be
going to
fun.
be a great game. Obviously, the first time they matched up last week in the Bronx. Neither pitched great.
No, they didn't. Hopefully they pitch better this time.
The Guardians did a great job of hitting the Yankees, and with Aaron Judge out a while, the Yankees lineup
scare
to
me.
me is Ben Rice is a really good young player. Cody Bellinger's been pretty good, but the rest of their lineup has been nothing.
I had said this on the show last week. Their lineup without their bat, without
Judge.
Now, you take Judge and Stanton out. You take
Yeah.
the 2 best hitters out of any lineup, and you can say that. But to me, what it strikes more than anything is that this Yankees team that some were calling a juggernaut the way they started the season, they're not.
No.
Their lineup is mediocre. They've got some decent players in it, but now obviously when they have their 2 bats, it's a great lineup. Other than that,
their rotation is their strength. The rest of their team is not very good.
Yeah, no, it's
their
not.
bullpen's mediocre at best. Their lineup is mediocre at best. Their rotation's really good. The Yankees.
It's great.
But that's it.
No, it's great.
But I'll tell you, Jay, I said this last week. The Guardians have to be all in this year because the American League in my entire life
has not been this down.
has never been this wide open.
I said that
never.
to someone last week.
There's nobody
What are there, 5
that's that
teams
good?
over 500?
Who's that good?
I think there are 10 teams that are either 500 or below the last time I checked.
Right.
There's nobody that's going to run away with anything.
No.
The team that I think a lot of people thought were going to win the American League is Detroit, and they're 12 games under 500.
Detroit's a mess. Toronto's a mess. Boston's a mess.
Yeah.
And you're going to have big market teams like those, the Mets too. I don't think the Blue Jays will be sellers. But I think the Tigers, Red Sox, and Mets are all going to be sellers,
Zach,
which puts interesting players out there.
How does the uncertainty of next season play into anything that the Guardians might do at the deadline?
I think right now it plays a lot because
Yeah.
teams aren't sure how to value future years.
Yep.
But what's that going to change, and how is it going to change over the next 6 weeks? I don't know. But the Guardians certainly have to be aggressively shopping and trying to get teams to change their mind if they think they're overvaluing those guys.
Right. That's what I would have thought. Gosh, I mean, it really feels like we're not going to have baseball next year.
Yes.
At least to start the season.
Yeah, we're not.
It
Yeah,
may
yeah.
be I was of the mindset it's going to be a complete wash.
Yeah.
Some people have kind of talked me off that ledge and said, no, they remember how punitive that was in '94, I believe, when they missed the World Series. You'd like to think that cooler heads will prevail, but right now there's still an ocean of distance
But I
between
think
the two sides.
real quick on this because I know what the owners have to get
Acquiesce
a salary cap. No, I think they have to get a salary cap.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They have to. For once, like even people like me who are big union
Well, but
guys.
for that to happen, though, the players have to
yes, so
acquiesce to this.
Yeah,
and
they're going to
say,
have to eventually.
And I don't
Public
know
sentiment is on the side of the owners for once.
Yeah, because I think in the proposal, the pot of money went up dramatically.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how the Players Association can stand on their argument that this is going to cost the players money.
It's not.
Right now with a floor, and that's a big part of the cap.
That's the biggest part.
That brings the spending and the total dollars available to the players up significantly.
Right.
So,
It may only negatively affect the top 1% of players, maybe, but it will raise the floor of everybody else.
and now
pretty
we'll
much.
find out what the Players Association, what their priority really is.
Right,
is it
right.
all the players,
Or is it just the
making sure the
superstars?
1%
Yeah.
eats so much
But
it keeps that number up?
Forcing the Guardians, Rays, other teams to spend money is good for the game.
I'm standing cheering
It's
for that.
good for the
That's
game.
what
We
need.
want here in
all
Cleveland. It would be huge, even though it would be negative. Obviously, negative to have a lockout strike, whatever. It would be huge if the Guardians had to spend $170 million.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know that this has even been discussed, and then
Yeah.
we'll get off of this. There has to be some sort of grandfather clause. You can't force the Dodgers to go
No,
from
they're going to have a certain
400
amount of years to cut down.
taper that down.
Which would be even a bigger advantage for teams like Cleveland because not only will they have to spend, but for a couple of years, the Dodgers, the Mets won't even be able to spend.
Right. No, they'll be
Because they'll be
reducing
having to
salary.
get down. To me, it'll be great for the game.
Fingers crossed.
Great
Let's
for the
hope it
game.
happens.
By the way, but last thing, the Guardians, please, they have to go all in.
I agree.
I really believe they can win the World Series this year. I think they have the walls to do it. Travis Bazzana and Chase DeLauder are special players.
They are.
They have finally
And look what Rocchio's
got special
doing.
players.
Like,
Rocchio's playing
now your
well.
9 hitters hitting like a clean or a leadoff
Manzardo's
guy.
back to being himself. He's raised his OPS over 200 points.
Yeah, he's
since
finally
the beginning of
starting to
May.
hit. He still strikes out too much.
Even Quan got 2 hits yesterday when nobody else.
Yeah,
was
what is he up
getting
to?
hits.
Like 220 now? 218?
Had a good
Yeah.
weekend.
Is that
He hit the
220
ball
is
all
OPS?
weekend.
Is
Yeah.
that a flat 600?
Yeah.
Go
good.
get one power bat, one starting pitcher, and one solid relief pitcher. It sounds like a lot. It's not. There's a lot of big market teams that are selling. Let's go. Go get Freddie Garcia. Go get Jaron Duran or Yordan Alvarez. That's probably unrealistic. Go get Mike Trout.
Duran.
Come on. Hey, 9 years ago, the Guardians.
Trout.
9 years ago, the Guardians called the Washington Nationals and said, if you trade Bryce Harper, we are interested. Now, they didn't trade him at that time.
Yeah.
But the Guardians were interested. Go crazy. Get Mike Trout.
Can you imagine?
Go get I know he's hurt now. As I said this last week. Go get Byron Buxton.
I don't think Minnesota's going to let him go.
He's only got 2 years left. He's
Yeah,
not going to
but
want to
you're
stay
going to
there.
trade him inside the division?
You know what? They're not going to be good for 2 years. Why not? Get
All
the
right.
Guardians' top
I like how
prospects.
you dream big.
I want to dream big.
I like that.
I want to.
I'm more of a realist, and I'm like,
All right,
not a
then realist.
chance. You know what our trade was?
you know what?
We went out and got Bailey.
Yeah.
How's that for a move?
Here's a little more realistic. Jaron Duran from Boston. Good
Listen.
player, not a superstar. Very good player.
I'd be
a
all
perfect
in on
fit.
him, and he kills our
Legitimate
hitting.
center
Kills
and a
us.
legitimate center fielder, which would be nice. Go get Freddie Peralta from the Mets. He's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. You'd have to give up one big prospect, but he's a free agent, and he's having a good, not great season after a great season last year. And go get Adrian Morejon, a good setup man from the Padres to add to the pen. There you go.
Travis
Those are all
Kelce's on
realistic.
the ownership group now.
Let's go,
He could
Travis.
borrow some money from his fiancée.
Let's go.
Taylor Swift. And
Yeah. Spend some money.
let's go get Ohtani.
Yes.